Australia isn't a central player in the Middle East, but what we can do is continue to do what we have done, which is to take a principled position. We opposed unequivocally the atrocity that occurred on October 7. We have called for a ceasefire consistently. We've called for the release of hostages. We've also called for the aid to be able to flow to the people of Gaza, and we've called out Israel for its actions that have led, of course, to such appalling conditions and loss of innocent life. In the resolution that was carried in the Parliament just days after October 7, I think will stand the history of well, because when you look at that, at the time we spoke about opposing the loss of innocent life, whether it be Israeli or Palestinian.
With respect, things have escalated. We're now seeing Palestinians regularly killed while waiting for food and water. Do we need to start changing our view of what's happening in Israel?
Well, that is completely indefensible, and we've called that out each and every time that has occurred. And I've issued a number of joint statements, for example, with the Canadian and New Zealand Prime Ministers. We've joined the international community, which overwhelmingly has condemned actions such as that. And the other thing that we've done is to say in private what we say publicly as well, which is that Israel, and we say this as a friend, sometimes you've got to be straight and upfront. And I certainly have said to, for example, President Herzog, who I've known for a long period of time, that Israel is losing support by its own actions, and that some of its actions are completely indefensible.
In your John Curtin oration recently, you seem to recast the beginning of the US relationship in different terms to the way we've thought about it until now, really focusing on it as a statement of Australian independence, which obviously has a particular context at the moment. The story that appeared this week about Elbridge Colby and war and Taiwan and submarines, it suggests a certain level of presumption in the US about the relationship with Australia, doesn't it?
We, of course, are a sovereign nation. And John Curtin, certainly, when he chose to stand up to the British and assert Australia's right to defend ourselves and to bring home our troops, was an assertion of that. And he looked to America, of course, was an important part of that as well. Now, since then, the US alliance that was formalised some years later, but essentially can be seen as beginning there in the heat of the Second World War. The US alliance has been our most important. It remains our most important alliance. That is a critical relationship that we have for our defence and security, but that doesn't abrogate the need for Australia to have a say in our own defence and security relationships.
Australians really haven't had much of a chance to debate AUKUS because it was signed and both sides agreed to it. Can you assure us that it did not come with any pre-commitments to US actions? I'm not talking just about Taiwan, but to what extent does it lock us into military actions by the United States?
Well, Australia is a sovereign nation, and governments of the day make decisions on behalf of the Australian government. And certainly I cannot envisage a circumstance where an Australian government would give up that sovereignty. Now, I note in recent days most of the coalition have said that that's the case. Angus Taylor has said something different, and it's up to them to really clarify exactly what their position is.